Well, it is the announcement that sparked the controversy over how and where the 9/11 conspirators should meet their fate. Listen to how it all started.
Our federal civilian criminal justice system has the ability to incapacitate terrorists, has the ability to gain intelligence from those terrorists, and is a valuable tool in our fight against terrorism. Doesn't mean it is the only tool that we should use. We have to couple it with what we do on the military side, what we do on the intelligence gathering side. But to take this tool out of our hands, to denigrate the use of this tool, flies in the face of the facts, flies in the face of the history of the use of this tool, and is more about politics than it is about facts.
All right, and now we are hearing reports that there could be a major reversal now in the works for the self-proclaimed 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the 4 other suspects. They could now be tried in a military tribunal rather than steps from ground zero in a New York court. And that is what all of this controversy has been about. And Republican Senator Lindsey Graham on the Homeland Security Committee, of course, he has been fighting very hard for this change. Welcome, Senator Graham. It's good to see you this morning.
Thank you, Martha.
You know, this is something that you've been speaking out about very strongly. There's a report this morning in the Washington Post that says that this is going to happen, that they will now be tried in a military court. The White House today is tempering that a little bit. The White House is saying that no announcement is yet to be made. What's your understanding of where this stands?
Well, I really don't know, but I think it would be welcome news by most Americans that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed would not be tried in New York City, miles away from the attack site of 9/11, given the same constitutional rights as an American citizen. It would be a zoo. It would take hundreds of millions of dollars, and it would be taking the war in the wrong direction. I agree with the Attorney General. There is a role for civilian courts in this war, but simply stated, if the mastermind of 9/11, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who has taken credit for planning 9/11, is not an enemy combatant at war with the United States worthy of military commission trial, who would be? So if this report is correct, I think it helps us immensely get detainee policy back on track so we can find some bipartisan solutions to this very difficult problem we face.
All right. I want to show you a little bit of this Washington Post story that came out this morning, which I know you know is out there. And this quote really caught my attention. It says, if Obama accepts the likely recommendation of his advisors, the White House may be able to secure from Congress the funding and legal authority that it needs to close the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and replace it with a facility here in the U.S. And the suggestion here, Senator Graham, is that there's some kind of deal between Congress and the White House, that if the White House agrees to hold all of these people, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, in a military tribunal for their trials, that then Congress will give them the go-ahead and say, okay, fine, close Guantanamo Bay. Does that kind of deal exist?
Not that I'm aware of, and let me tell you what I've been trying to do from the Bush administration to now, is to create a legal system that recognizes we're at war, that understands that there's due process rights available to detainees at war, but they're not common criminals. I have advocated the closing of Guantanamo Bay if you could do it safely. So has President Bush, Senator McCain when he was running. Many other military commanders have said that Guantanamo Bay, if safely closed, would help the overall war effort. To me, what I'm trying to do is to create a legal system that allows enemy combatants to be tried by military commission, which was reformed in 2009 with the help of the Obama administration. Find a way, if possible, to close Gitmo safely, a legal system that allows people to be kept off the battlefield if they're enemy combatants.
Right.
You can try them in military civilian court. But this is important, Martha. 48 people, according to the Obama administration at Guantanamo Bay, are too dangerous to let go, but will not be tried either in civilian or military court. The only law that allows you to hold someone without trial is military law. And under military law, Martha, you don't have to let an enemy prisoner go if you got a due process system that allows them to say they're not an enemy prisoner.
Senator, have you had any communication with the White House over this very specific issue, that if they go to a military tribunal for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and company, that you would, help Congress to, that you would be a voice in Congress to close Guantanamo Bay?
You would not be able to close Guantanamo Bay by simply putting Khalid Sheikh Mohammed back into military court. You would have to have a legal system that deals with the 48, that allows the 48 people the administration said is too dangerous to let go, to have a statute that would deal with that situation, to give them due process, but recognize that under military law they could be held without trial. What happens to the 31 detainees who have been granted their habeas petition by judges? Do we let them out on the streets of the United States? My argument has been that the Congress and the administration should work together to create a legal system to deal with all the problems related to the war on terror, just not Khalid Sheikh Mohammed.
I hear you. Before I let you go, when do you think that in short order over the next few days we will see a reversal from the White House on this issue, and that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and company will be tried in a military court?
I don't know, but if it were done the way you described, I think it would be good leadership on part of the president. It would give us a chance to close Guantanamo Bay safely. It would be welcomed by the American people. To the left, who believes that we should use the law enforcement model that undermines intelligence, that's dangerous. To people on the right who espouse torture and doing away with the Geneva Convention, that hurts the war effort. There's a better way, and I think Khalid Sheikh Mohammed being brought back into military trial is a good start to find a way forward.
All right. Well, this is something you've been fighting for very ardently, and we hope that we can talk to you about it as it moves forward, if indeed we do get this word out of the White House in the coming days. Senator Graham, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
In a moment here, this is no scene from the